The entire season came down to this tournament. I was ranked 6th in the standings heading in, but I needed to climb into the top 2 to have my DP World Tour Q School paid for. Could I pull off a career-changing finish when it mattered most? Let's find out.
Good shot.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the East Coast Pro Tour 2025 at Lancid Championship. As mentioned in the intro, I am ranked 6th in the season standings heading into this one. The top 2 finishers for the season have their entry fee for DP World Tour Q School paid for. I am not mathematically out of it. I do need to have a very good couple of days, this being a 36-hole stroke play event, and I'm probably also going to need some help from the guys at the top, meaning that if those guys are finishing in the, say, top 3, doesn't matter even if I win, I'm not going to catch up in the points, but we have a chance. We're going to give this everything we've got. Now, we've already competed on the channel a few times at the Lancid golf course. For those who might be new to the channel though, this is a par 72, 6,622 yards long. Very beautiful golf course. Good number of holes, especially on the back 9 that run along Lac St. Louis and the St. Lawrence River. A lot of fun to play. Good mix of challenging holes and a few other birdie opportunities out there. All in all, you have to play some pretty good golf to post a score on this course.
Montréal, Quebec, James Colin Davis.
And here we go. The first hole is a par 5, 541 yards, dog legs to the left. You can see a couple of bunkers down the right. Those really should not be in play. I'm just looking to go, if you see the mound on the left side there, just a little bit right of that. And well, obviously well left of the aforementioned bunkers. Looking for a good swing here to start the day. And though I felt like that was pretty well hit, it is quite a big push. And it ended up catching the bunkers, which those really should not have been in play. I did not hit that very hard. But we had 263 yards in here. I'm just laying up with a 9-iron. I can't get too aggressive here and make a big mistake early. Good strike from the awkward stance there. That'll advance the ball down the left side of the fairway and give me a wedge shot in to attack this par 5 with my third shot. 119 yards here to a front right flag. This is a sand wedge, a little bit downwind. And that was just awful. I still can't tell you what happened on that golf swing, but short right miss with a wedge in our hands. Not a good start. Got my lob wedge out here, short-sided. Trying to land this short and let it release up onto the green and then take the downslope down to the hole. Needed to carry that a couple of feet further in order to get better proximity. So this is a bit of a shaky start here. Poor drive, decent layup, terrible wedge shot. And the chip was okay, but we were in a tough position. Still got about 8 feet left here for par to open the tournament. Breaking from right to left and just severely underread how much that putt was going to turn. I'll go ahead, tap in for bogey. Not the start we were looking for. The second hole is a drivable par 4 coming in at 312 yards. Pin today was kind of back mid-right, let's say. I'm hitting driver. I'm not firing at the flag because there is water right. I want to take this just to the left edge of the green. And that is a pretty big left miss, though the left miss here is fine. The one thing I could not do here was miss to the right and bring that water into play. So on the side of this little mound here, 73 yards in. Pretty decent angle, but there's a lot of slope on this green. I've got to hit the right landing spot, and this kind of comes out a little bit to the right, catches the wrong slope. That's going to move further away from the hole and actually runs off onto the fringe. We've got a long look at birdie here, going uphill, breaking from left to right, basically all the way. Pretty decent effort from that distance. Definitely another underread as that turned way further to the right than I expected. I'm going to mark that, take my time with the par putt here. We're able to tap that in. Keeps us at 1 over after 2. Golfers, if you're not using a massage gun like this, you're missing out. This is the Q2 mini massage gun designed by 2 physical therapists, Bob and Brad, whose YouTube channel has over 5 million subscribers. It's ultra light, super quiet, and fits right in your golf bag. When I say it's quiet, I mean it. This is as loud as it gets at its highest speed. I could literally use this on the golf course and my playing partners would not know. I use it before my rounds to help me warm up and after my rounds to help me recover. It comes with several different attachments so you can hit the affected area as precisely as possible. It's also available with an attachment that provides heat or cold therapy depending on what you need most. For recovery, mobility, and injury prevention, this is one of the best tools a golfer can own. Links and promo codes can be found in the description below. The third hole is another par 5, this one coming in at 550 yards. Now this is a pretty tough tee shot. The hole's going to dogleg left. If you hit this straight or with a bit of a fade, you can go right through into a water hazard that hugs the right side of this hole. This is driver trying to take it on an aggressive line, a little more down the left side. Managed to pull that off. Historically, I have not driven the ball well on this hole, so I will absolutely take that drive right there. Finally feel like we put a good swing on one. 236 yards left in here to a flag on the right front side of the green. This is my hybrid. Pretty decent strike just left of the flag. Unfortunately does not cover the bunker. And that's going to leave us in a bit of a tough spot here. We're in a deep bunker, a little bit short-sided. The green runs away from us slightly, and the greens are a little bit firm today. So, need to pop this out with some height, get it to land soft, but I don't want to leave it in the bunker. So I definitely don't get too cute with that. Absolutely made sure we got it out of the bunker, but we have got a lot of work now left for birdie. This look at birdie here, going back up the hill, turning from my right to left. Had the line, didn't quite hit it hard enough though. We'll tap in for par, but that feels like a missed opportunity right there. The fourth hole is a par 3 today, playing 160 yards. Pin's kind of middle right side of the green here. I'm hitting an 8-iron, and this is a pin that I can get fairly aggressive with. I want to go just left of it though, and I hit a massive draw unintentionally. So, we're struggling here a little bit. This has not been pretty to start the round, but we do have a lot of time to turn it around. But we have to get things going in the right direction soon. As mentioned, we need a good finish at this tournament. Long birdie look here, turning from my left to right, going down the hill. Good roll. Line looks really good. Just expected that to turn a little bit earlier. As you can see, it does finish behind the hole, but didn't really break until it got past it. This to clean up for my par. That keeps us at 1 over through 4. The fifth hole is a 404-yard par 4. Straight away, you can see there's 2 bunkers down the left-hand side and water basically all the way down the right-hand side of the hole. I'm hitting 3-wood on this one, even though this club has not been very good to me recently. And that's another left miss with the 3-wood, which has been the trend. Now, luckily that is going to avoid the bunkers. It is going to stay in the rough, but I will have a bit of an awkward lie here. 151 yards left in. I'm hitting a 9-iron here. Pins on the back left of the green. And after missing left on the previous hole, I didn't want to get too aggressive here, though I did end up pushing this one a little bit out to the right. So I have some directional challenges with our ball striking right now. We do have a birdie look though. It's an outside chance, no doubt. Downhill, turning from right to left. Really nice roll. And a bit of an underread. Very good for pace though. But we need to start making some birdies. And if I'm going to make some birdies, I have to hit the ball closer to the hole than I have been so far. You have not really had a good look at birdie yet through 5 today. The 6th hole is a 438-yard par 4. This one doglegs to the right around the bunkers that you see there. Now, I'm taking a pretty aggressive line here, going just right of the bunkers over those trees. That should put me in the right side of the fairway, and it'll shorten up the hole if I hit a good drive. Which I do. I can't hit a drive much better than I hit that one, so that felt good. That was good for confidence. We need some good shots here. This left me 118 yards in to a flag basically in the middle of the green. I'm hitting my gap wedge. This was on a very nice line. Finally felt like I was going to give myself a good look at birdie. All in all, pretty good shot. Did come up just short of pin high, but directionally that was quite good. Finally, makeable birdie putt. We're going to have about 12 to 14 feet here going back up the hill. And based on everything I was seeing, this should break from right to left. And that actually seemed to break from left to right. So we finally get a good look. And unfortunately, I completely misread the putt. Tap in for par, still 1 over through 6. The 7th hole is a par 3 today, playing 171 yards. Pin in the kind of back right of the green. I'm hitting an 8-iron. I mean, this is just such a gorgeous par 3 here with Lac St. Louis in the background. Decent strike there. Just drew on me a little bit. Now, that's okay. This is the safe side to miss it on. You don't really want to miss this to the right. It's not going to give me a great look at birdie, but this is not necessarily a birdie hole to begin with. So, stalking my putt here. This is going to be a long uphill right to left breaker. Just looking to give myself a chance here, and at worst, leave myself a makeable par putt. Now, that never really had a chance. One, I underread it, and 2, I didn't get it going on my line. I needed to start that right of the hole, and I basically started it right at it. But, seeing as the pace was good, we don't have a ton of work left here to save par. Again, as mentioned, par's not bad here. I'm not going to be losing strokes to the field. But we do need to start making some birdies. We need them in bunches, and we need them in a hurry. The 8th hole is a par 4. Today playing 324 yards. This one's straight away. Pin is at the front of the green, so I've decided to hit driver and give this one a run, because where the pin is fairly accessible if you leave the ball on or just short of the green. Another great driver swing there. That is back-to-back very good drives. It's on a great line just left of the flag. You see it land a little short, run up. This is going to finish just a few paces off of the front edge. Couldn't have done much better from there. This chip for our second shot on the par 4 Now, this is usually pretty quick once it gets onto the green. Unfortunately, I fly it right into the upslope. I meant to carry it about a yard further. That killed the speed, but we still have a very makeable birdie look here, about 4 feet, turning a little bit from right to left. We are on the board. That gets us back to even par. Let's keep this going. The 9th hole is another short-ish par 4 coming in at 357 yards. Today the pin was at the back left of the green. I usually elect to hit driver here, get it as close to the green as possible. It takes all of the fairway bunkers out of play. Just looking to start this one on my line and keep it there. That there is another pretty good driver swing there. Maybe we've actually found something. See that one kick a little bit to the right. That's going to be in fine spot. 58 yards in here to this back left flag. Now this is lob wedge. I've got the face a little bit open because I need to try to stop this with trajectory. All in all, that was on a pretty good line, but I did fly it a few yards too far, and seeing as I was coming out of the rough, it didn't have much stopping power, so it does run through to the back fringe. Long look here for birdie. Pretty decent try from that distance. I did leave it just a little bit short, but as you can see, even if I'd had it on line, that was breaking a little bit too far to the right and would have missed anyway. I'll go ahead, tap that in for par. We will finish the front 9 of day 1 at even par. Turning on to the back 9, the 10th hole is a par 3, today playing 187 yards. I'm hitting a 7-iron. The pin is at the front right of the green, 5 paces on and 6 paces from the right edge. It's a pretty good number for my 7-iron here, so I'm feeling good. Nice confident swing, pretty good strike, on a very good line, just left of the flag. That's a quality iron shot right there. We haven't had a ton of that recently. We will take that. Leaves me about 14 feet uphill, breaking from left to right for birdie. And I still don't know how that didn't turn. There was so much slope at the front of this green. You could see it, you could feel it underfoot, and it's one of the straightest putts I've hit all year. It's not a bad par, but it is definitely a disappointing birdie effort. The 11th hole is a 406-yard par 4 that doglegs to the right. As you can see, there are bunkers down the left. There is water on the right side of the fairway, and then further up there is water on the left side of the green. So I elect to always hit hybrid on this hole, just looking to play it down the left center of the fairway. That's a pretty good hit, though it did turn over on me a little bit, just hoping it's not going to reach those bunkers, which it doesn't. We're going to be okay. No problems there. We have 176 yards left to a very deep back left flag here. I'm hitting an 8-iron because I know it's not going to go long. I was hoping the wind might help it back up onto that shelf, but I knew at worst I was going to leave it middle of the green, and for a minute I was convinced my ball was going to land on that seagull. Luckily it didn't. I didn't really want to have to deal with that guilt. Long uphill birdie look here with a significant amount of break from right to left. And you see some frustration there. I mean, that's not a very makeable putt, but the line was off and the pace was off. And I've left myself some work here for par. About 4.5 feet. Able to convert that. Keeps us at even par through 11 holes. The 12th hole is a 555-yard par 5. This one goes straight away off the tee and then dog legs left as you head back towards the green. Obviously going to hit driver on this one here. Looking for a good one here so we can attack this green in 2. And just leave the face open. That's gonna end up down the right tree line, not what we were looking for at all. We still have 305 yards in. I've just elected to take my 4-iron out, kind of hit like a punchy stinger shot. Just advance it up the fairway, give myself a wedge into the green here. That was nicely done. I know it's just a layup, but I hit that very, very nicely. So for our third shot here, we have 95 yards. Tricky little pin. I'm hitting a lob wedge. I was well hit, just left of the flag, but on a good line. It lands on the green, takes a massive hop, and ends up in a bunker over the back of the green. And that was frustrating, because that only landed a few feet from the pin, and just couldn't understand the hop it took off the green. Now we're in a bunker below the surface. We're a little short-sighted. This is a demanding bunker shot.
Great shot.
Could not have played that much better. This is a huge up and down here to keep us at even par for the day. Gives us a chance to keep things going. We convert that. Let's try and make some birdies. The 13th hole is a 392-yard par 4. This one fairly straight away. Now I normally elect to hit hybrid on this hole, because if I lay it back and miss a little bit right, I can still get up over the trees. Driver is definitely a little more on the aggressive side. We need to start being a little more aggressive. After missing the previous drive on the par 5 right, that is a great comeback swing right there. Pipe that one right down the middle. We are going to be in great shape. 105 yards in here to a front left flag. Hitting my sand wedge here, trying to start it out to the right. I'm going to draw it back in a little bit. Didn't really draw it back in much, but the distance control was very good. It does spin a little bit to the left. This is a downhill, right to left birdie look here. We need these putts to start dropping.
Yes.
And after a very shaky start and some pretty poor golf swings, we are 1 under par after 13 holes. Let's go. The 14th hole is a 407-yard par 4. This one dog legs around the left and around a body of water. It's a massive body of water down the left-hand side of this hole. I'm hitting hybrid off the tee, starting it at that fairway bunker and trying to turn it over a little bit. It starts right at the bunker. It doesn't really turn, so I'm just hoping that it's not going to get a huge bounce and reach the bunker. It does not. It'll stay in the fairway just short of it. No problem there. We still have 160 yards in. I'm hitting an 8-iron here, a little bit back into the wind. And this is another big left miss with an iron. This needs to land soft. Luckily it does. If that takes a big kick off of that mount, that can end up in the hazard very easily. But though we're alive, we have not left ourselves in an easy spot here. Short-sighted, green running away from us. It is going to be awfully hard to get this close to the hole. Pop it up, trying to use the trajectory to stop it. And I'm asking for it to go, because I actually left that short of the flag. All in all, pretty good shot. Still got some work to do here. There's a lot of break on this short one. We convert the par. That keeps us at 1 under after 14. The 15th hole is a par 3 with essentially an island green. Today playing 174 yards. Now, luckily it's not too windy today, but when the wind's howling, this hole can be horrendously difficult. I'm hitting 7-iron here, pinned kind of in the middle right side of the green. All in all, decent strike there. It does draw on me a little bit. I have to admit it, I'm not trying to draw it, but that works out pretty well. It's a pretty decent shot. Giving myself just outside of 20 feet here for birdie. This is a difficult one. This is a double breaker, going right early and left at the end.
Get in.
And I just saw it breaking harder to the right early. Unfortunately, it does not. Able to go ahead and clean up for my par. Pretty good score on that hole nonetheless. Now the 16th hole is a 351 yard par 4 that kind of horseshoes around the water here. So from the tee box here just off of the 15th green, you can essentially take a straight line at the green. It's only about 285, 290 to carry on that line. So I'm not going for the green, I'm going just right of it to play it a little safe. And I hit a massive, I mean massive pull hook. That never had a chance. So I've got to hit another one from the tee here. It's just a 4-iron playing it safe. Hit that well. Down the line I was looking for. Fortunately, that's my third shot, so there was no drop zone further up on this hole. And now you might be wondering why we're back on the tee. Well, we walked up to the fairway and my ball was nowhere to be found. So it seems as though somehow even the 4-iron didn't make the carry, even though it should have been way more than enough clubs. So this is now my 5th shot. Again, good strike. Took an even safer line on this one. We will see that one bounce. We know that one's alive. And this is getting ugly quick. We have 143 yards in here left for our 6th shot. That's a controlled 9-iron. Pushed out a little bit to the right. Would have loved to have been more aggressive with that, but I've been missing some shots left, and if I missed left, it was going back in the hazard. This putt here for triple bogey. And just a complete misread, though luckily it was good for pace. That is a quadruple bogey 8 on the par 4 16th hole, which takes us to 3 over par on the day, and I am not pleased. The 17th hole is a 422 yard par 4 that doglegs to the left. Again, 3-wood is out. That's just the club on this hole. Even though I have not been hitting this thing well, need to dig deep here. That's the best 3-wood I've hit in a little while. So considering what we've just been through, that's a pretty good bounce back swing right there. It's going to put us down the right side of the fairway. We had 163 yards left in here. This is an 8-iron going slightly back uphill, a little bit into the wind. It's on a pretty decent line, just right of the flag, just a little bit short of it. All in all, pretty decent result. Gives us an uphill look at birdie here. And this would be a heck of a bounce back. But I underread it and didn't quite hit it hard enough to get all the way up the hill. Tap in for the par. That keeps us at 3 over. The 18th hole is a short par 5 coming in at 454 yards. This one's straight out off the tee and then dog legs left around a lake. But driver is back out here looking for a good strong finish before we head into day 2. And that's not a great drive. I don't like seeing the ball go left, but it's an acceptable miss. See it tracking towards the water, luckily will not reach it today. We had 150 yards in here. This is a 9-iron, pins on the right side of the green. This should be plenty of club, even though it's a little back up into the wind, and as soon as I hit this, I knew that it wasn't going to cover the bunker. And it doesn't. And that is supremely frustrating, because even though I felt like that was a good hit, it came nowhere near where it needed to go. That's just kind of been the state of the game right now. Just can't rely on the ball striking. Third shot on this par 5 out of the bunker. Hit a pretty decent shot. Flew it a little further than I wanted. Didn't really check for me. Goes a little bit past it. It does leave us a birdie putt, but it is a tricky one. Downhill is going to be very quick, turning from right to left. We finish with the birdie. That ends up being a round of 2 over par 74 doesn't necessarily take us completely out of it, but it does mean that we have to have a career day on day 2 if we want any chance of sneaking into the top 2 in the season standings. Kind of summarizes the season. At this point, nothing at all has been easy. Alright guys, so I'm back at home. Obviously that was a pretty tough day. For a few reasons. It's no secret that I have been struggling with my ball striking for the vast majority of this year. Some days are better than others, some days are worse than others, but to be perfectly honest, going back over the tournaments I've played in this year, there is only really one day where I'm happy with the way I hit the golf ball. And that has become more and more frustrating as time goes on. Now, we didn't get off to a great start today, clearly. It was very shaky, especially ball striking wise. I really don't feel like I hit a good shot until the 6th tee, and then proceeded to hit, a reasonable number of decent shots after that. They were by no means great, but they were definitely better than they were earlier. Things weren't that bad. We managed to kind of stop the bleeding after the really bad start on 1, and managed to get things back to even par after 8. And then under par after 13, I think it was. So to be in red numbers at that point, I'd fought really hard to be in red numbers. None of that before the first 12 holes, none of it really was easy. And I was proud of the fact that I got it under par and knew that I had, there's a couple of difficult holes, but some very scoreable holes in the finishing stretch, and figured that I could get it easily to 2, and maybe even 3 or 4 under at that point, which would have put me in pretty good shape going into the second round. That 16th hole today just killed me. The drive was awful. Those who've been watching the channel, they know that I have been struggling with that kind of pull hook miss throughout parts of the year, and it had been easily 2 weeks, maybe 3, since I'd seen that ball flight. And out of nowhere, listen, that ball flight's not good on any hole, but on a hole where it's forced carry over water and water left, hitting a pull hook as a right-handed golfer is literally the last thing you want to do. And of course, that's when that swing materialized, and I still don't understand how the second shot off the tee, the 4-iron, didn't cover. But anyways, go from 1 under to 3 over after making an 8 on that hole. Finish the day at 2 over and essentially eliminate myself from being able to finish in the top 2 for the season. Barring some sort of miracle tomorrow. Not even sure if it's mathematically possible for me to get back into the top 2, but it would have to be an incredible improvement from one day to the next for me to go out and do something that special tomorrow. So yeah, it's been tough recently, and today, I keep kind of telling myself, okay, it's close, just keep grinding. It'll come, and today just like it finally broke me. I was very upset when I got off the golf course today, and mostly just due to built up frustration over the way that things have been going, to the point where I spoke to Roxanne when I was driving home, and like thoughts of like temporarily giving up competitive golf were coming to mind, because it's just not any fun right now. It's become really difficult to manage myself mentally. Usually the mental side of the game is something that I pride myself on, and I know that I should be standing over shots telling myself positive things and kind of just like focusing on my target. But when you know that your technique is off, it's really hard to trust that you can pull it off. Because I mean, there are shots where I stand over it and I do all the right things mentally, and I, still hit a pull hook like I did on 16. I'm not in a good spot. I'm in a dark place right now when it comes to my golf game. I did stick around afterwards, and I practiced. I worked with the physios who were on site for a little while. Worked on chipping and putting for a while, grabbed a bucket of balls, hit balls, tried to kind of figure things out a little bit with little to no success, which has been the trend. And since I've been home, I've spent a couple of hours going through old video, either on my phone, old swings from when I was swinging it well, even just like last year. And the tournament where I did hit the ball quite well this year, the Spring Open, I watched that full video, and I'm just trying to pick out the subtle differences between what I was doing then versus what I'm doing now so that I can apply it tomorrow. And I have found a trend in the videos, and I'm gonna do my very best to put that into practice tomorrow. But going into a tournament round with a brand new feel is less than ideal. But I can't go out and just repeat what I did today. It doesn't work. So anyways, all that being said, we still have the second round before us tomorrow. I'm getting ready to go to bed because with my 2 over par score, I have an earlier tee time. I have an 8:10 tee time, so I'm gonna be up very early to get my body right and get to the golf course and get properly warmed up and everything. I'm gonna continue doing everything that I can to give myself the best chances of posting a number tomorrow. And yeah, professional golf it's hard at the best of times. And when your confidence is at the level where mine is, and your technique is off, even if it's just off a little bit, professional golf is just horribly tough. I remember Max Homa saying this, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, that, professional golfers, you're one bad swing away from quitting and one good swing away from feeling like you can win the Masters. And I'm awfully close to wanting to quit right now. I know I'm not going to, but that's just where I'm at. That's the reality of the situation. I'm going to find a way to turn things around, but there's a lot of hard work still left ahead of me, and I'm already very tired. So it's an uphill battle, but we're going to battle. Anyways, that's going to do it for now. I'm going to go get some sleep, and I will see y'all in the morning. All right, so we are back for the second round of the East Coast Pro Tour at Lancid Championship. As mentioned, I spent a lot of time at home last night after I'd stuck around in practice post-round, going over video, trying to find something that works, because the way that things have been going is just not acceptable. It's very evident by the way I played yesterday. A lot of shaky ball striking, good enough to kind of keep us around par, not really good enough to allow me to go low, but then it almost seems like inevitably at some point in every round we have one big miss. Oh, early wildlife segment. It's a fox crossing the range. As I was saying, seems like in almost every round we can have one big miss that will cause us to make a double or worse. Yesterday we ended up only 2 over par on the day, but with a quadruple bogey on the scorecard. Is that maybe the nicest swing you've seen me make in the Spring Open?
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure so.
Montreal, Quebec, James Cullen Davis.
And here we go. One last chance to do something special and sneak into the top 2 in the season-long standings. Back on the first hole, 541 yard par 5. We need to get off to a better start than we did in the first round, and that all starts with a good drive. No, that was actually a pretty good drive.
Sorry. Yeah, I
It
gotta
was
go.
about 1,000 times better than the one I hit
From
in the
L'Osso
first
Dario,
round.
Ty Chilone.
Down the middle of the fairway. Now we still have 260 yards in here. The pin's way at the back of the green. I'm hitting a hybrid, just trying to fly it onto the front of the green and let it release back to the hole. That was a pretty good strike. It was on a good line.
Go.
It just came up way short, and you'll see it'll climb up towards the front edge and come back down that slope. Just don't think the ball was carrying that well, because a couple of my playing partners also came up pretty short, and we all hit good shots. I've got this chip here. I'm using my gap wedge trying to kind of pitch and run this. Fortunately, just caught that a little bit heavy. That is not the proximity that we were looking for, but we do have a birdie putt here. This is uphill, turning from right to left. This would be huge for momentum.
Oh.
And that is just a brutal lip out to start our day here in the second round. And that thing looked like it was center cut until just the absolute last second. We'll tap in for our par. That keeps us at 2 over par overall. The second hole was playing a little bit shorter today, as the pin was kind of at the front left of the green. 298 yards. Now, this, again, pretty tricky hole with the water right, the bunker short, and anything left today is going to be a bit of a tough up and down, but it is the safe play. That's another good drive. Now, it is a little bit left, but that's basically right where I was aiming. I was going to land in that fairway there, kick up into the rough. All in all, not a bad spot to be. I am pitching back uphill here. Got a decent lie, lob wedge, open face here. I'm going to throw this up in the air. Hits the absolute dead center of the stick and stays out,
Made it?
unfortunately.
No, it stayed out.
That bitch.
Yep.
Though that is going to leave us a very makeable birdie putt. We'll tap that in. That gets us back to 1 over overall.
Alright.
Now the third hole is another par 5, as you would have seen in the first round. This is the one with the tricky tee shot that I haven't always been comfortable with. Looking for another good driver swing here. We have started the day well off the tee, and we are going to need that to continue throughout this second round. Now that's not bad directionally, though I have to be honest, it wasn't very well hit. So we've sacrificed some distance, but we are in the fairway. I still have 280 yards in here, pin at the back left of this green. So I am hitting 3-wood here. Great strike, great ball flight, just right of the flag, looking fantastic in the air. And misses covering the bunker by about a yard. That was a little bit heartbreaking, but it was still a good swing. So we've got a tricky bunker shot here because we've got about 30 yards to the flag. I've got to throw this up with some height and get it to land soft. And that was very, very nicely played right there. And it is a hot one out here today, ladies and gentlemen. You can see me wiping sweat off of my brow. And it's still early in the morning. We're going to tuck the ears back in and we are good to go. This 5-footer here, breaking from left to right, birdie. We are back to even par for the tournament. On to the fourth hole, par 3, today playing 155 yards. Pin at the front left of the green. I am hitting a 9-iron. And I am trying to take dead aim with this one, trusting that I am not going to be hitting left misses like I was in day 1. That is one of the nicest iron swings I have made in a while.
Shot.
And that stops about 3 feet away from the pin. We are cooking right now. Now this putt for 3 birdies in a row. A little bit downhill, turning from left to right. Tuck that away. All of a sudden, we are 1 under par overall in the event. Onto the par 4 5th hole. I'm hitting 3-wood again here today. I'm just trying to trust my swing, trust the feel that I've been working on this morning and yesterday after the round. We know where this finished in the round 1. I'm trying to avoid that. Unfortunately, it's almost a carbon copy of the shot that I hit in round 1, although this one is going to catch that first bunker. So it's unfortunate, but it's not terrible. We still have a shot, though it is tricky because we do have the lip to deal with. I've still got 158 yards here. I'm hitting an 8-iron. I have to try and hit like a high cut here and make sure I take that lip out of play. Pretty good strike. Definitely elevated that in a hurry, cutting back towards the center of the green. I'm not going to be able to get it up onto the top tier, but from where we were, that is not a bad result. Long look here for birdie. Going uphill to that top tier, breaking from left to right. Good roll. Pretty good for line. Pretty decent effort from about 40 feet away. Not going to complain with that. We need birdies, but pars, especially when we're out of position off the tee, are not terrible. Now, I had hit a great drive on the 6th hole in round 1, and I'm just looking to do the exact same thing here, going over the trees that you see just right of the bunker, cutting the corner, trying to give myself a short wedge shot in so we can have another look at birdie here. That is the driver ball flight that I am trying so hard to get rid of. That pull hook miss is just awful, though luckily I am still okay here. I'm in the fairway. I have 144 yards in, hitting my 9-iron to a pin that's in the kind of front right portion of the green. And I just chunk the crap out of that.
Chase.
It's going to bounce up there, but man, did that thing ever land well short. You can see that I'm working through the feels. The first one was what I'm trying to avoid doing, and the second one is me trying to cover it, get the club a little bit more out in front of me. Bit of an awkward pitch shot left here. Lob wedge, open face. Just hit down on it and to release down that hill and break a little to the right. All things considered, good shot there. I didn't even have to mark this. Close enough that I could just walk up, line it up, tap in the par. Keeps us at 1 over par overall through 6. The par 3 7th hole, playing 174 yards today. Pins basically in the middle of the green here. I'm hitting 7-iron. I'm trying to hit a bit of a draw back into the wind here to control the distance. Decent strike, starts out to the right and just never really draws back, unfortunately. Just takes a terrible kick to the right into that greenside bunker, which I thought was a little bit undeserving, but that is golf. With this bunker shot here, just got to explode this one out, get it to land on the downslope, and release down to the hole. All in all, well played. I did want to start that a little bit right of the flag and just pulled it a little bit, but that's okay. Good proximity here. 3.5, 4 feet for par. Great up and down there. It is very clutch given the circumstances. Now, we hit driver on the 8th hole in round 1, mostly because of where the pin was. Round 1, the pin was right at the front left of the green, which is pretty accessible from where I left my drive. Today it's in the back right, so I've elected to hit 4-iron and lay up here. Another good strike there, just a nice low flight. Get it to go between those willows, hit the fairway and release up. Now I can attack this pin with a wedge and some spin. So 110 yards in here. This is a controlled sand wedge that just came out way to the right. Pretty good for distance, but pretty terrible for direction. We cannot afford to be missing greens with wedges in our hand. Now, I've left myself in a bit of a tricky spot here. Got a little bit of rough to cover. Just land that at the front of the green, let it release. Honestly, didn't really think I was going to be able to leave it short. It did stay a little short, but again, the proximity was so good that I can't complain. Tuck that away for par. Remain at 1 under overall through 8. On to the par 4 ninth, where we are going to hit driver again, just like we had on day 1. The pin here is going to be kind of right at the front of the green, 7 paces on, pretty much in the middle. So where I left my tee shot yesterday, that pin's actually going to be very accessible. Unfortunately, I hit another pull hook. So after starting the day very strong off the tee, we are now starting to struggle with the left misses again, and that is worrying. We're under a willow tree, we have 80 yards in, but we don't really have a clear shot. So I'm bumping a 6-iron, trying to hit it into that hill. I hit the slope I was looking for, it just didn't really kill it. That's going to run through the green into the back bunker. That is going to be very tough here. Awkward stance, off a down slope. The entire green running away from me. I need to catch this just right, get some height on it. Fortunately, I catch it just a hair heavier than I needed to, so it comes out a little bit more flat and dead. That was never going to stop on the green. Uphill look here from the front fringe to save my par. This would be massive for momentum.
Get in. Cool.
It was a good effort. Unfortunately, just missed that on the high side. Runs a little bit past the hole. I'll walk up to it, take my time, get set up, make sure I'm comfortable. Tap in to close the front 9 with a bogey and at even par overall. The 10th hole today, playing 206 yards. That's a par 3. Now I am hitting 5-iron here today, slightly back into the wind. Pins middle left side of the green here. I felt like I hit this really nicely. It was on a very good line. You're going to see that it doesn't even carry the front edge. And that was frustrating because I felt like I'd hit that well and it was just nowhere near the distance that I needed it to go. I did kick up onto the green. We do have a putt, but this is obviously an outside chance. Breaking from left to right all the way. Again, a pretty good effort. You can see a little bit too much pace for that line. Just missed it on the high side. A little bit of work coming back here for my par. We tuck that in. We continue. Even par through 10. And I'm taking the same strategy on 11 as I had on day 1. I know we need to be more aggressive here, but bringing driver out on this hole and trying to hit a perfect fade and squeezing it between 2 bodies of water and a massive tree on the corner just does not make sense. Unfortunately, this one I pulled a little bit. This is heading towards that first bunker, and it is going to kick straight into it. That's going to leave us a fairly difficult second shot here. I did have a bit of an awkward stance with the ball a little bit below my feet. 176 yards here. This is my 7-iron. And I did not hit that well. Caught that heavy. Comes out a little left. One big kick to the left. Right into the hazard. And I tomahawk the 7-iron back over towards my bag. Not an aggressive one, but still frustrated, to say the least. Take my drop. We have 50 yards left here. And this thing just came out so hot.
Wow, did that upper jump.
Flies past the target, takes off over the back of the green. Expected I would be in the bunker. And honestly, I think I would have been better in the bunker. This is very awkward stance. I had to play the ball super far back. Hard to get any height on it. That goes about 25 feet past the flag. I've got this putt here going back up the hill to save my double. And just like in the first round, it hasn't been great, but we have done a lot of things well. And just one hole that absolutely kills us. So after getting ourselves back under par for the tournament early on in this round, all of a sudden we are 3 over par overall after making a triple bogey on the 11th hole. This is the par 5 12th, looking to bounce back. Hit a very similar drive to the one I'd hit in the first round, leaving the face open, just scared of going left after the last few drives that I've hit. This actually ended up more on a hole on the second golf course here at Monette. That was a 6-iron that I'm advancing down this other hole. I don't even know what number this hole is, but it was way easier for me to advance it down this hole than to try and play it back onto the 12th fairway. Have 149 yards here, up over the trees to a back right flag. That is just a full rip pitching wedge because I needed to get height on it. I'm not going to see it down. It comes down just behind that tree. It is on the green. The proximity isn't great, but from where I was, I will take that result. Long look here at birdie, expecting this to break from right to left. I challenge you to find a straighter putt than that. That was a terrible read. This here left for my par. So we overcome the poor tee shot and make par. But man, that was a lot of work. Now, as mentioned in the first round, normally would hit less than driver on this hole, but seeing where we are at this point, we need a miracle to get back into this thing. But I'm going to hit driver here, play aggressive, try to make some birdies coming in. And carbon copy from the swing on the last hole. Leaving the face open, scared of hitting the pull hook. I will go ahead and hit a provisional here, which I do hit quite well. Provisional was good, but fortunately that one is not going to count. Find the first one. I don't have any shot except to pitch it back out into the fairway. With my 7-iron there, that was fairly well played. That's going to leave us 48 yards in here to this pin that's reasonably well protected by that bunker. So open face on the lob wedge, kind of cut the legs out from under it. Pretty good shot, did fly it a couple of yards further than I wanted to. Does give us a reasonably good look at par though. Now this would be big. It's turning a little bit from left to right. You can see that it just kind of like wanted to turn and didn't. And that's going to be another bogey. At this point, honestly, I'm not sure if mathematically it changes anything, but definitely hurt my pride. 14th hole, hitting the same hybrid that I hit on the previous day. Now, though we might be out of this, I still want to finish as strong as I possibly can, just for myself. I have many more events coming this year. I need to continue working and building confidence. Now, that's the flight I was looking for yesterday. Starting it at the bunker with a bit of a draw. That puts us in the left side of the fairway with 164 yards in here. This is a small 8-iron. And like the day before, just a big overdraw coming into this green. Now, luckily the pin was on the right side, so the overdraw ends up finishing on the green. It was pin high, but that proximity is not good at all. Long birdie putt going across the green, breaking from left to right. Bit of an underread, a little bit low on the pace as well. do leave myself an uphill par look though. Reasonably good par, given how poor the approach shot was there. The 15th hole, the par 3 today, playing 173 yards. The pin is at the back left of the green. I'm hitting a 7-iron today. I'm just trying to flight it down a little bit. Not trying to hit this full, just a little like 3/4 one. Decent strike, again turning left on me, which I really don't love. Now, I'd picked a smart target. The left miss doesn't get me in any trouble, but it is going to leave me a very difficult putt here.
Yep.
Not sure if you can hear what I said there, but I'm saying I hate this game so much right now, which in that moment I really did. On to the infamous 16th hole, the one that ruined our first round. Now, I thought about hitting less than driver, and unfortunately at this point our score doesn't really matter, so I'm going to try and overcome some demons here. And I'm trying to start this right of the green and make sure that it fades. I started that right of the green, but that absolutely did not fade. It's a low spin draw.
Yeah, you're
Again,
fine.
almost didn't cover. That was terrifying. So scary that I'm trying to fade it, and it's still drawing. 41 yards left in here from the fairway to a front flag. This is my lob wedge. Trying to control the flight and the spin, give myself a makeable look at birdie. All in all, that's a pretty good shot right there. Leaves me about 7 feet uphill, breaking from right to left. A lot of break from right to left. In fact, a lot more break than I saw there from right to left. Just unfortunate. I really wanted to give that a better chance. And that's just unfortunate at this point. That's on me. That's a lack of patience. Frustration getting the better of me. Not taking my time. This left for my bogey. So right now we are 4 over for the tournament and 5 over on the 16th hole alone. The 17th hole, par 4, dogleg left, tricky hole. We played this one reasonably well yesterday. I've got the 3-wood out again. This is just the right club for this tee shot. Yes, this one does turn a little left on me. That's acceptable. It's not like a low pull hook. It's a nice high draw. 163 yards left in here. I'm hitting an 8-iron into this back left flag. Good strike there. On a pretty good line, just right of the flag. Good distance control. That's going to give us a good look at birdie here on this challenging par 4. About 13 feet here, breaking lightly from right to left. So we sandwich the bogey on 16 with birdies on 15 and 17. Make that make sense. On to the 18th hole, the short par 5. I'm hitting driver. Again, trying to overcome demons here, looking to make some good swings to finish off this tournament. Would love to finish with a birdie or better here on this very scoreable par 5. And I club twirl a pull hook.
Pretty standard.
Yeah. This is a 6-iron here, just chipping out of the woods, getting myself back in play. This, obviously, the way that I'm hitting the tee ball when I miss it right now, just making golf much harder than it needs to be. 156 yards in here, pin on the left side. This is an 8-iron that I'm trying to draw in. Nice strike. It started drawing, just didn't quite draw enough. I needed that to draw another like 2 yards and I would have caught a slope there and worked towards the flag. Instead it kind of stays up there on the slope. Downhill birdie putt here. Bit of a misread. Leave it a little short. Very disappointing finish to this final East Coast Pro Tour event. to close out their 2025 season. Not the end of my season, it's the end of the East Coast Pro Tour season. Lackluster finish, and definitely left a pretty sour taste in my mouth. It's a very, very frustrating experience for me on the East Coast Pro Tour this year. All right, guys, that's a wrap for the 2025 East Coast Pro Tour season. A fairly, well, okay, to state the obvious, it's a very disappointing finish to the season for me. Just it's the last couple days summarize a lot of what the season has been for me. Unfortunately, subpar ball striking, reasonably good short game, reasonably good putting, nothing outstanding, but not missing a lot of the putts that we should make. Really, it all just comes down to the ball striking at this point. It's just not good enough. And as hard as I'm working at it, I don't feel like I'm making a ton of improvement, which is becoming very, very frustrating. But yeah, I mean, we finished 3 over for the 2 days with a quad and a triple. So clearly there is still a lot of other good, but the good that I'm seeing, in my opinion, is still not good enough. And it's definitely not good enough to outweigh the bad swings that I'm struggling with, because as we saw over those last 2 rounds, the misses that get me in trouble are, I mean, these are some big misses. I need to narrow up that miss window big time. And I mean, there's other big misses that I've hit that just like happen to miss to okay spots. But you know, if I want to continue doing what I'm trying to do here, these are never shots that are going to help you. They will only ever hurt you. So yeah, very frustrated, very disappointed in my game over the last couple of days here, especially when I had a chance to squeeze into that top 2. But honestly, I think I needed to, the way that it worked out, I think I needed to win the event outright. Which, I mean, I think I'm capable of doing that, but not right now. The game is just nowhere near where it needs to be, and I cannot wait to get that turned around. We finished 24th in this event. For expenses, this one doesn't cost me a ton. It's like the entry fee and some gas, because it's not too far away from where I live, so I can just kind of commute back and forth. All in all, it did cost me about $600. The 24th or 23rd? 24th? I think it was 24th. The 24th place finish does not net me a paycheck. So that's another event where it's a financial loss. I'd like to congratulate Jake Scott and Craig Stefarak for finishing 1st and 2nd respectively in the East Coast Pro Tour season standings. The 2 of them have their DP World Tour Q School paid for in the fall. Congratulations, boys. I wish you both luck. They are 2 very, very deserving players, great human beings. Guys, that's going to be a wrap for this tournament recap video. Thank you very much for sticking around. Next week on the channel, we have the PGA of Canada Championship. This is a big event on a beautiful golf course with a ton of history. You are not going to want to miss this one. If you haven't already, please drop a like on the video, leave a comment down below, and if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. We are up over 7,000 subscribers. We hit 3,000 on June 20th, so continue to do something right here. People are catching on, the channel continues to grow. This is very motivating. It allows me to believe that we're going to be able to continue doing this going forward. I'm at the point now where I'm looking to expand the channel. We are looking for an editor. We're going to be looking for more camera operators. I want to get an agent and a manager on board. If you or somebody you know wants to be a part of this project, hit me up. Let's get this going. that's it for this video, guys. Again, thank you very much for watching. And as always, I'll be back again next week with another video. Cheers, guys.